Hello one and all, Cygnus Jason here with Gameside. Normally I'm able to roll out a concise and inviting introduction to these videos, but I am still reeling from my second dose of the COVID vaccine, so my mind's a little foggy. I apologize ahead of time. If I sound ill at any point during the video, it's because I am. Anyway, today we're jumping into the story of people who literally cannot afford to have clouded minds in Scarlet Nexus, an action role-playing game co-developed by Bandai Namco Studios and Tosei Company. Bandai Namco is a very well-known studio, so I won't dive too deep into developer backgrounds like I have been doing in the past few videos. Basically, Bandai Company was a toy company founded in 1950, and Namco was a video game developer slash publisher that was founded in 1955. In September 2006, Bandai bought Namco and the two merged into what is known today as Bandai Namco Holdings Incorporated, the parent company of Bandai Namco Entertainment Inc., the publishers, and Bandai Namco Studios, the developers. As I mentioned a minute ago, Scarlet Nexus was co-developed by Tosei Company, another long-established studio who has been making games since the early 80s. Personally, I don't think Bandai Namco always hits the mark, but generally their new IPs are well received, Code Vein being the most recent one. On to the plot. Scarlet Nexus starts you off with a choice. Choose which protagonist you wish to play as. The main differences between the two are fighting styles, your skill tree layouts, your OSF teammates, and the point of view of the main events of the story. Protagonist number 1, Yuito Sumeragi. Yuito is a standard run-of-the-mill anime protagonist, generally kind, outgoing, and goes out of his way to help others regardless of rules or restrictions, as you see in the prologue. His life was saved by an OSF agent when he was little, which inspired him to eventually join the OSF as a volunteer in order to return the favor. His fighting style utilizes quick, close-quarters attacks with a sword and psychokinesis. Protagonist number 2, Kasane Randall. Kasane graduated from the OSF Academy at the top of her class, and she was scouted immediately after. She generally is quiet or indifferent to anyone that is not her adoptive sister, Naomi. True to her nature, it's not long before she butts heads with a member of her platoon, but to be fair, the guy's a dick. Her fighting style uses a handful of floating knives as well as psychokinesis. Now, the OSF stands for the Other Suppression Force. The Others are the name given to the various twisted and ravenous creatures you will encounter throughout the game. From how they are described, there is no known way to rid the world of Others permanently, so they are seen as more of a natural disaster of sorts. OSF agents can be scouted when they're young, they can volunteer for service, or they can be sought a little later in life and join under the classification of adult, but will widely be perceived by their fellow agents as just cannon fodder. OSF agents are also given anti-aging supplements from the time they join the academy. All abilities rely on cognitive function, which of course declines with age, so the OSF wants to keep its agents in fighting shape for as long as possible. Just to give you more of an idea of how wild things are in the far future, OSF agents can communicate via SAS, a completely harmless brain-to-brain connection via a virtual cable. With this, an OSF agent can tap into the powers of his or her squad mates and also communicate with squad mates without having to speak out loud, which can be indispensable to relaying tactics in the heat of combat or keeping each other calm in times of heightened stress. As I mentioned, it's crucial that an OSF agent keeps a cool head since all of their powers originate from stable or strong cognitive function. It may also be for this reason that the others tend to devour the brains of their victims. The game progresses in an open, yet linear fashion. What I mean is you'll have your main story objective, which is always visible on the map, and you'll have some quests you can undertake as well. Where you are currently in the main story governs what regions you can travel to, so look around each playable area for items or whatnot, on the off chance you don't get to go back there later on. Quests are marked on the local map with a diamond outline icon, shown here. Unfortunately, these are standard fare like fetch this or kill that. To add injury to insult, the kill quests usually have to be performed under certain conditions, like use pyrokinesis, or while brain drive is active, and God help you if you're after a special enemy that only spawns once per run through. If you're a completionist like me, or want the extra XP you'll likely gain from pursuing your quest objectives, you'll have to suffer through them. Who knows, sometimes the quest rewards just might be worth the struggle. Anything you find that you don't want can be taken to the recorders, some bike messengers in bright yellow accented outfits who always seem to be there exactly when you need them. They must have taken lessons from the postman. The recorders run a shop out of the back of their bikes where you can buy new stuff, sell unwanted stuff, and also retrieve your goodies from your pre-order or deluxe edition rewards. You can also open up the exchange at the shops where you can turn in specific types of data you find from the others or the environment in order to gain items, stronger weapons, or new cosmetics for your characters. One last note about the recorders, the game autosaves at certain intervals, but you can talk to the recorder to manually save, which is great if you maybe want to hop back and forth between two playthroughs, one for each protagonist, like I've been doing. In between main story phases are standby phases. During these, you can rest at the hideout, save or shop at the recorder, travel to any available regions to knock some enemies around, get some quests done, or chat up your allies. Fighting with allies, replying to their messages, or giving them gifts increases your bond with that character, unlocking a bond episode to be completed with that character the next time you are both at the hideout. Increasing a character's bond level equates to that character's SAS abilities increasing in level, as well as improving their general performance in combat situations, so don't neglect to complete them, even if it's for this asshole. During main story phases, you're likely to see a whole lot of combat, so it's best we get you prepped to head out there and do the OSF proud. You'll make regular use of 3 things to get you through enemy encounters: your weapon techniques, your psychokinesis, and the SAS abilities available from whatever allies are currently with you. As mentioned earlier, Yuito uses a one-handed sword, great for close range damage, and Kasane uses knives, which she employs at range. Both characters also use psychokinesis, the ability to manipulate and move objects with your mind. Combat is structured so that psychokinesis knocks the enemies around, opening them up for safe weapon attacks, which fill the psychokinesis gauge, allowing you to continue chucking objects. Most enemies have a segmented yellow gauge below their health, called a crush gauge. Bombarding enemy weak points with heavy psychokinesis or SAS damage will work that gauge down to 0, opening them up for a brain crush, a very cool attack that will outright kill normal enemies or really hurt bosses. The size or structure of throwable objects like a payphone or an entire bus dictate how much damage is caused when they're hurled at the enemy. Elemental interactions also play a role here, which is where your allies' SAS abilities really shine. For example, if an enemy is wet, fire up Shiden's electrokinesis and the shock will paralyze the enemy for a bit. If an enemy is soaked in oil, borrow some of Hanabi's pyrokinesis to ignite them. Be careful though, because the same can happen to you as well. A little further on in the game you'll unlock the brain drive. Taking or dealing damage will fill the brain drive gauge, and when the gauge eventually fills, your squad will automatically shift into brain drive mode, greatly increasing your attack speed, decreasing the energy and wind-up time required to cast your psychokinesis, as well as compounding XP earned for every enemy slain during the effect. Aside from your weapons attack, you also have 3 plugin slots. One you start with and the other 2 you'll have to unlock. Plugins are little mods that can increase values like experience gain, attack power, or total HP. When in combat with allies, you can assign them tactics, basic guidelines on how to conduct themselves during battle. You can instruct a character to go all out with no regard for their own life, you can instruct another to play it safe and fall back once their HP falls below a certain percentage, or you can instruct one to never attack, just evade and heal as necessary. There are 6 different tactics you can assign, and you can edit the weapon, plugins, or cosmetics of all your allies. So it's up to you to get them as stylishly effective, or effectively stylish, as possible. Killing enemies grants you EXP, which is used to level up. Leveling up does not give you stat points to allocate, which I'm kinda thankful for because I don't want to be responsible for correctly building the stats of a dozen different characters. You do, however, gain brain points, which are used to unlock new skills in your character's brain map. At the beginning of your playthrough, combos may feel limited in that they end very abruptly, and this is due to you not having any additional skills unlocked yet, so give it time. The brain map is split into 5 sections. Expand, which gives you more moves like longer weapon combos or double jumps. Enhance, which increases things like attack power or ally revive speed. Support, which increases your overall survivability. Brain Drive, which boosts the already plentiful effects of Brain Drive. And lastly, Brain Field, which is an integral part of the plot, so I'll leave you guys to experience that for yourselves. Because Yuito and Kasane work a bit differently, their skill trees are laid out differently. An example being, Kasane's first expand skill is the double jump for 2 brain points, whereas Yuito does not get the double jump until his 3rd skill in the expand section, which takes a total of 7 brain points to reach. I would take this to mean Kasane is really meant to be a highly maneuverable range character, while Yuito is more a sturdier close range damage dealer. Although both protagonists have their specialties and shortcomings, As long as you are keeping their weapons and plugins fresh, spending time with their allies, and prioritizing whatever skills round out their fighting styles, both Yuito and Kasane will gradually become the most skilled OSF agents the organization has ever seen. Hopefully they figure out a way to deal with all the media attention that comes with that. Now, just because I have many praises to sing about Scarlet Nexus, does not mean that it is without issues. The lock-on system is a tad inaccurate, meaning if you are too close to the locked-on enemy, your melee attacks might miss. Enemies in this game do not broadcast or telegraph that they are about to attack, so you will get hit quite a bit until you learn every enemy's movements in order to either predict their next moves or hammer them into the dirt before they can get a chance to move. Those two issues make this next issue much worse. This is one of those games where you have to be pretty much at a dead stop, meaning not finishing an attack or launching an attack in order to successfully use your dodge and avoid damage. If you are mid-attack and you see the enemy about to swing, you can smash the dodge button all you like, but you're going to take the hit. Some of these could probably be fixed in a patch if enough people complain, and all of them could be remedied in the event that this game gets a sequel. But for now, anyone who plays the game will just have to live with it. Despite the handful of gripes I have about the game, I still find it to be absolutely awesome. Whether you're hurling flying knives engulfed in psychic flames at your enemies, causing immense property damage, or just enjoying the plot, nothing feels forced, and all the mechanics work well enough together to deliver a solid experience. Scarlet Nexus is available on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC for $60. If my words were not convincing enough and you want to see some gameplay, I'll have some uploaded in a bit. Other than that, thank you for watching. Make sure you drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you want to see more. This has been Cygnus Jason, and I will catch you all on the game side.